Hello everyone and welcome back to the 12 Cylon Challenge. Today marks a special day in the challenge because we have broken our record for consistency, working and making videos for 3 consecutive weeks. Huh? Huh?
I think you need higher standards.
Don't you take this away from me, Matthew. Don't. To give you an executive summary, there is good news and there is bad news. The good news is that I finally fixed all the problems with the Pi and the virtual reality is finally working. So I will be giving you our first actual demo of something that actually works. The other good news is that the Arduino shipment has finally come in, so all the parts are in place for us to make this robot into a robot. The bad news is that we're going to be experiencing some issues with making this robot portable as we move forward, and I'll get into why later on, but that's just the overview. So let us begin. First things first, the VR. You'll remember that last week we were experiencing an issue where every time I enabled the camera, the internet would be disabled. So I tried to use an Ethernet connection instead of a wireless connection, and I experienced the same problem. So a friend of mine on Facebook commented and said, why not try an Ethernet connection? I said, I did that. You think doing it again will give me a different result? These devices run on electricity, not on magic. Turns out they run on magic because I did that and it worked. So, yay. To give you a clearer explanation, a Raspberry Pi only has a certain amount of power that it can provide to the components attached to it. The camera is a bit of a behemoth, so it draws most of that power. If you connect other components like a Wi-Fi dongle, then it will exceed the limit. And if it was a lesser device, then that would burn it out or damage it. But because it's a Pi, it has some safeguards in place. So all that happens is that the components don't function properly. If you use an Ethernet connection, then it doesn't require power from the Pi. So the internet should work. But what I think I did last time is I had the Ethernet and the dongle connected at the same time. So having 2 different interfaces for the internet sort of cancel each other out. That's what I'm guessing. But in any case, it works now. First problem solved. Just as a disclaimer, I don't actually know anything about electronics. This is all just information I've pieced together from different sources. So if you know more than me and you would like to correct me, please go right ahead. The next step after getting the camera working is to take the stream from the camera, convert it into a 3D image, and create our virtual reality environment. Now, one way to create a 3D image is stereoscopic 3D, which is when you have 2 cameras to simulate having 2 eyes. However, we only have 1 camera, so we'll be applying a stereoscopic effect to the stream from that 1 camera. And that stereoscopic effect comes from an open source library which has been developed by the lovely people at the blog SitePoint, which also have a tutorial that I've been following. So many thanks to those guys, and check them out in the description. So without further ado, here's the demo of what the VR looks like so far.
Alright guys, so I have the virtual reality headset now. I'm putting the camera in front of it so you can see from my perspective. This is what I'm looking at now. I'm looking at the screen, looking at the table, looking at the TV. And yeah, from my perspective, this looks like some pretty... It's not legitimate VR, it's stereoscopic, but it works.
The next piece of news is that the Arduinos I ordered have finally arrived. They took a little bit longer than I would have liked, but let us remember that these are the same people who wanted me to track the order with Internet Explorer, so I think that may have been their way of saying this is going to take a while. And it did. Now, I have tested the Arduinos and they are functional, which means that they're ready for us to start connecting the motors and the remote to them and getting the robot to move. But you'll remember that earlier I said that there is an issue with portability, and I'm going to get into that right now. The issue is basically that the virtual reality is working fine so long as the Pi is connected to Ethernet. But if we switch to the Wi-Fi, then we're going to have the issue of drawing too much power again. So how do we fix that? Well, what we can do is use what is called a powered hub. The powered hub, you connect it to a power supply. Then you get the Pi and hook it up, and it gets the full power that it needs. Then you get the Wi-Fi dongle, connect that up, and it gets the full power that it needs without having to draw it from the Pi. So you don't run into that issue of having the components mess up. Problem solved, right? Wrong. I tried out the hub before wrapping up my work for the week, and it didn't quite work for me. Now, given my experience with Linux, this could be a number of things. It could be that there's a configuration file somewhere that needs some tweaking. It could be that the hub is not compatible with the Pi. Or it could be that I wasn't wearing my lucky socks when I was trying it. It's all up in the air, really. Whatever the problem may be, I'm sure it's going to be something really stupid, and that it's going to take up all of my Cylon time for the week. In any case, it is what it is, and hopefully by next week I have something video-worthy to show you. Until then, thank you for watching, and see you next time.